we find out? Great job for remembering, Kyle. Who remembers what schema is? What's the other piece of information? The information we find out from evidence. The information that we think that we already know along the same line. So we already know our schema. Okay? Everybody has their packet? Alright. So today we're going to make inferences about me. To start off. So, can someone read the schema? Jamal, can you read schema on the top of your packet? What we already know. What does it say?
It says he loves to read. She is from Delaware. She loves teacher reading at ESY this summer.
Correct. So that's everything we already know. And then we're going to look at evidence, what's inside my purse, and make inferences about that. Okay? Who wants to come up first and pull something out? Oh, I saw Felice's hand first.
I'm not supposed to go in late
I'm giving you permission, so it's a little different, no more, but that's a really good thing to remember. So what's this? It's a magazine. All right? So what number is magazine on our packet?
3.
Number 3. So what can we infer? What you already know about me, and I have an entertainment magazine. Omar.
Oh, you love 3?
I love to read. And what do I read about in magazines? Is it the same as reading like a textbook? Celebrities. So I like to stay up with celebrities and pop culture. So what can we write for number 3? Who wants to make that sentence? Omar? It's okay.
Who did? Gotcha. Never
I
mind.
need that piece though.
Okay. Felice, do you want to make a sentence? We'll come back to you, Omar. I could.
Magazine?
Yeah, from magazine that we just pulled out.
Mrs. Kinsky loves to read about
Entertainment, celebrities. Okay, so let's write that down. Ms. Inskeep loves to read about entertainment and celebrities. All right, who wants to grab something out of the purse next? Philip? Philip's hand first. Next. Everybody's asking at the same time. There's plenty of things. Don't look, just pull something out. Just pull whatever you got. So what is this? A book. So what number is book on our packet? It's 2 pages. Daniel, what number? Number 6. So everybody turn to number 6 on your second page. Okay, put it right. We're raising our hands, right, Jared?
Oh, excuse me.
We're raising our hands, right?
Sorry.
Kyle?
Likes to read books on her own time.
On her own time. That's a great sentence. Ms. Inskeep likes to read books on her own time. So let's make sure we're putting down for number 6.
It's magazines.
It's my friend Megan's. I borrowed it. I don't get magazines delivered to where I'm staying right now. Can you write down the sentence, your inference sentence for number 6? All right. All right. Omar, you want to pick something out? What do you usually go next?
Uh-oh.
A cell phone. So what number is cell phone? The number 2. Number 2. Sure, we're raising our hand here. So what can we write, please?
Mrs. Inskeep.
Inskeep, you said it right.
Has a pink face.
The pink outer box. Is that an inference or is that something we can observe? Okay. So what can we imply? The fact that I have, infer that I have a cell phone. Felice, you want to try again?
Look, Mrs. Inskeep loves to text her friends on his birthday.
Great. Philip, would you like to add to that? I like my friends. So I like on my free time, Miss Inskeep on her free time likes to communicate with her friends. Her cell phone on number 2. Okay? There's 3 more items. Kyle, would you like to pull something out? It's a little scarf.
Dude.
A cup. What kind of cup is that? A coffee cup. All right, so what number is coffee cup or coffee mug? What number is that on our packet? Can you find coffee mug? What number is that, Philip? Number 5. So what can we write for our inference sentence for number 5? Daniel.
Miss Inky likes, they like to drink coffee.
Likes to drink coffee in the morning? Great. Felicia, you want to add?
Mrs. Inskeep is a coffeeholic.
Coffeeholic? I could be. I drink coffee a lot.
Every teacher.
Every teacher does.
Me too.
It's a good way to stay awake.
You need that.
Give us energy. Jared, yes. Would you like to? All right, come on up. Woo! Okay. Now what is that, Jared? Do you know what that is? The phone book. You want to open up and see?
Oh.
So it has all my days and tasks I have to do every day. So what do we call that? A planner. Great. So what number is planner? Number 1. So right there, yeah. So what can we say now that I have a planner? Philip.
You write your people's phone numbers.
I write people's phone numbers sometimes in there. I write tasks that I have to do each day and deadlines. Khalees?
Mrs. Inskeep is
Very
very organized.
organized. That's a great sentence. Let's write that for number 1. All right, I have one more. I'd like to grab something out. Who hasn't gone yet? Jamal, would you like to grab the last item out? All right, come on up, sir.
You're really loud.
Go ahead and just grab it out. I'm giving you permission to go inside my car. Okay. So what's that?
Hat.
A hat? What kind of hat specifically?
Philly hat.
A Phillies baseball hat. So what number is that on our packet? We have one number left. You can go sit back down. Jamal, thank you very much.
What's your name?
It's my hat.
The coffee stolen?
What?
The coffee stolen?
It's old. I play softball. It's got some field dust on it.
Wait.
So what number is Philly's hat?
Oh,
Number 4, please. So what can we put for our inference sentence? Daniel.
Miss Inky likes the Phillies.
I like the Phillies. Oh, and so what sport would I like? Daniel.
Facebook.
Baseball.
Baseball. We're raising our hands, okay? So let's fill that out for number 4. Really glad to see you guys make inferences. Great job. All right. Second drawing. Sure, staying on task. All right. Now we're going to move on to a story that we're going to read together. Give me 1 second from here. I think we got it, Jeremy. Thank you for offering. technology problems, I'm going to read the story out loud. So what does that mean? We have to have really good listening ears. Jamal, do you have a question? So I'm going to carry that for you. Okay. So we're going to have really good listening ears today about our story. Yeah. Most of us do, yeah. All right, so the story today is called Arrows. It's old.
You saw it?
No. Okay. All right, let's pay attention to the story, okay? So it starts with the first chapter, the first arrow. Paloma was tossing her new ball high into the air when she discovered the first arrow in the forest. When her ball came down, it bounced off a tree trunk, hit a log, and came to rest at the base of a boulder. She was digging the ball out from the heavy undergrowth when she noticed the arrow. It was carved into the lower part of the massive rock. All right, so think about what we just read. What do we think undergrowth means? Any hands? Jared?
Sinkhole under or something like that?
Can you repeat that?
Sink under.
Think under, maybe. Does anybody else want to have anything to add? Undergrowth, think of like nature. Philip?
It's like the nature of the land.
Nature of the land, yeah. So the things that grow underneath what we see, the surface. Paloma grabbed her ball and raced home. Her grandfather was resting on the porch swing. His eyes were closed, and for a moment, she wondered if she should wake him with the news. "You've discovered something," he said softly when she was settled beside him. "I can tell by the way you're fidgeting." "I found an arrow, Papa," Paloma said. "And where's this arrow that excites you so much?" her grandfather asked. Paloma told her grandfather about the bouncing ball, the boulder, and the strange arrow carved into the rock. "Do you think the arrow is a glyph like the one in my code books?" Paloma asked. "Maybe it's a Mayan hieroglyphic. The Mayans used tiny pictures instead of words and letters. Maybe they carved that arrow," Paloma guessed. Can we guess maybe what a glyph is? Thinking about what we just read in hieroglyphics. Jared?
Ancient rock, like stuff that
Stuff that cave people. Yeah, so they would draw. So before there was language, they would use codes and symbols to communicate. Papa pulled himself out of the swing and smiled down at his granddaughter. "That's an interesting idea," he said. "But I doubt the Mayans were carving rocks around here. The Mayans lived farther south in Mexico and Central America. However, your arrow might be part of a code of some kind." "Come on," her grandfather said. "I think we should visit this mysterious arrow." Paloma's grandfather knew a lot about codes. In fact, he had won a medal for code work during World War II. Papa and other Native American code talkers had helped the United States and its allies win the war by sending secret messages. Paloma loved to hear the story of the code talkers, even though she heard it many times before. She especially liked to hear about the Mississippi Choctaw code talkers like her grandfather. As they made their way toward the boulder, Papa told Paloma how the code talkers sent messages that only other code talkers could interrupt. "We spoke into walkie-talkie radios," he explained. "There was a code talker on each end, and we would only use Choctaw words that no one else would understand. Someone would give me the message that I was to pass on, and I would speak the words in Choctaw. If the enemy was listening in on the radio, they wouldn't be able to understand what we were saying." When Paloma and her grandfather arrived at the boulder, they knelt and Paloma pointed to the roughly carved arrow. "What do you think it means?" she asked. Papa ran his fingers back and forth over the carving. "I'm not sure. It's a very old carving, but it's hard to determine its age. It takes a lot of time and effort to figure out how old something like this is." Paloma stared at the arrow for a long time. Suddenly she had an idea. "I know," she shouted. "Why don't we follow where the arrow is pointing?" The arrow pointed to another boulder nearby. Paloma and Papa examined the boulder the arrow was pointing toward, and found the second arrow almost immediately. The second arrow pointed in the same direction as the first, so they followed that one too. It led to another boulder and another arrow, which led to yet another and then another arrow. There were 6 arrows in all. Paloma knew what a cipher was. It was a code that substituted letters or numbers for the real letters in a message. She knew ciphers were used in wars to keep the enemy from learning about battle plans. Now they had to crack the code. "Did you use a cipher in the war?" Paloma asked. "I saw them in World War II. Ciphers that substitute letters for other letters have been used since the time of Julius Caesar, more than 2,000 years ago," said Papa. "I wonder if these letters were used in the war," Paloma said. Papa had to think about that. He paced for a very long time, then he stopped beside his granddaughter and cleared his throat. "I think I remember something," he said. "As you know, a great war took place right around here." "The Civil War?" "Right, Papa," Paloma said. "Yes, about 150 years ago, the Civil War was fought to free the slaves in the South. I can recall reading that soldiers and spies in the North used a special code." "Do you remember what the code was, Papa?" "Read the letters again, and maybe that will help me." Paloma read the letters slowly. G, P, M, N, P, X, U, I, F. She was about to ask her grandfather what the letters meant when she noticed something in the cipher that she had seen in code she had deciphered before. Most sentences contained at least one small common word, and this was no different. "I think I see some interesting letters," she said. "Let's say the letters form words. One of the words has 3 letters. Let's guess that it's a common word." "Like and," suggested Papa. Paloma and Papa were quiet for several minutes as they thought about 3 letters. "I don't think it's and," Papa said. "The letters don't make sense." "Maybe the letters up stand for the in some way," Paloma said. Papa smiled. "What letter becomes before U in the alphabet?" he said. "T," Paloma said. "And the letter H comes before I, and the letter E comes before F. This is a substitute letter cipher, Papa." "Yes, I remember now. During the Civil War, some northern spies used a code called the advanced cipher. They advanced each letter, one letter of the alphabet. Once they cracked the code, it was not difficult to read the message. I know what it says, Papa. It says, follow the drinking gourd. But I don't know what the message means. Do you know what it means? The drinking gourd is the group of 7 stars now called the Big Dipper, which can always be found in the northern sky. Escaping slaves followed the drinking gourd from safe house to safe house until they reached their freedom. The sun began to set, and tiny slivers of light flickered through the branches. Meanwhile, Paloma took her flashlight from her backpack, turned it on, and grabbed her grandfather's hand. By the time they returned to the other side of the stream, the sun had completely disappeared. Paloma stopped and studied the sky. Are you looking for the drinking gourd? Her grandfather asked. There it is, Paloma pointed to a bright shape in the sky. Shall we follow it? It's your decision. Are we heading north? Paloma had to think about that for a minute. The drinking gourd would lead them back across the stream. move places north. We need to go south, Papa. That's where we live. Paloma and Papa turned. They moved slowly like creeping night creatures. The glowing beam from Paloma's flashlight led them away from the North Star, past the arrows pointing the other way, out of the woods, and home. Okay, so we're going to turn to our independent worksheet in our packet. It's the third page in our packet. Name and date right at the top. The first question says, Paloma's discovery of the arrow shows that she is A, active, B, enthusiastic, C, observant, or D, athletic. So we're doing this independently. Our mouths are shut. Our hands are writing, and our eyes are looking down on our paper. Kyle's answering number one. Daniel has his name and date on his paper. Number two says, how do readers know Paloma and Papa's search took a long time? A, the sky was dark as they went home. B, the story is 19 pages long. C, Papa got older during the story. D, Paloma had a flashlight with her. Think back to the end of the story. Number three, why did Paloma most likely go to her grandfather for advice about the arrow? A, he was just resting. B, he was experienced with codes. C, her parents weren't home. D, she liked him best. Think about why she went to go see her grandfather. Number four, explain how you got the answer for question number three. So you're writing, you have plenty of space to write your answer, plenty of lines. All right. All right, we're going to share out in just a second. All right, number one. What did we get for number one? Harry? C, observant. Very good. She was looking very hard at the code. Number two. What did we get for number two? Kyle, is that him? No. Daniel, what did you get for number two?
She has a flashlight.
She had a flashlight with her. So we can put D. And what else do we know about the end of the story? Daniel again?
The guy was observant.
Okay. Number three. Harry? B. He was experienced with codes. He had experience from being in World War II. All right. Turn to your exit ticket. It's the last page. You're going to rip it off of your packet. Write your name and day at the top. Again, this is independent mark, so our mouths are closed, we're not talking. Eyes are looking down our paper and our hands are moving to right. Daniel's filling out his exit ticket. Omar's putting his name and date at the top. Kyrie's working hard on his exit ticket. Okay. Number 1, what is schema? A, what you already know. B, what you have found out. C, what you'll never know. Or D, none of the above. 2, what is evidence? A, fingerprints. B, what you have found out. C, the things left for you to figure out. D, all of the above. 3, what is an inference? A cool detective word, A. B, a way to connect pieces together and make sense of things you know and things you have found out. C, a vacation spot. D, a way to assume about everything. Number 4, we're gonna write for this one. John went to buy some candy at the store, but he forgot his money at home. What do you think will happen next? And 5, what is something you can infer about the fall? When you're done, turn those papers over